And I will begin by introducing myself and introducing my colleague and our department and what we want to do this evening. So my name is Tzippi Oppenheimer, and it's my pleasure to meet you. I'm joined this evening by Aviva, who is also on the screen, Aviva and Dan. We have the same last name. We're both
Hi,
part,
everybody.
thank you, Aviva. We are both part of the NBN Post Aliyah and Advocacy Department, which means that you might have heard this spiel when you first came and joined our first steps Zoom session. I'm just gonna, a little bit will be a repeat, but really hope that this evening will not be a repeat. What I'm gonna suggest is everybody mute themselves, and there will be a chance, of course, this is a lot of question and answers, but if everybody keeps themselves muted unless it's the time that they're asking the question, that'd make it easier. We also have a chat box, so you can write questions in the chat box, and Aviva will be putting some of the links in the chat box that we talk about, okay? Our NBN answers department is your address to turn to with questions now that you've made Aliyah. We have at least 10 people in our department. I kind of lose count, but we thank you for adding that to the chat. We run a hotline or a call, a dedicated phone number, *3680 from within Israel. We have a number you can reach us from outside of Israel. That is 02-659-5800 extension 2. But from within Israel, it's *3680. We answer that number Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sometimes you will find that you'll fall on voicemail. That means either all lines are busy or that we're in some type of training session, or for example, tomorrow, our entire team of 12, except for one person, will be either in the airport or in a flight coming with Olim. There's 3 largest flights coming tomorrow with Olim and other Olim coming here and there. We spend a lot of time in the summer at the airport greeting Olim, which I hope that we were able to greet you when you came. So it's important really to know what we go over this evening, what you can learn is wonderful. But if you have questions, something we go over and you're still not clear, something you forgot to ask, something that comes up anew, just reach out to us. You send us an email, we'll get back to you, call us. We don't answer, leave a message. You do not need to leave a message and send an email. You can, but it's sometimes overkill because we really do get back to you, okay? That is number one. Number two, this open forum is really a chance for you to ask questions. People did write in a lot of questions, but we'll also open up the floor to your questions live. In addition to this open forum, we do once a month what we call an open forum. Usually there's something where we spotlight a topic, okay? Open forum with a spotlight on converting your driver's license, or with a spotlight on the Bituach Leumi system, or et cetera, many different spotlights. But because summertime, so many Olim come, we have just a plain open forum with no spotlight that we're doing now. We'll do one also towards the end of September. We do send out emails about 9 times during the year on a almost monthly basis, as well as emails about these open forums. If you are not receiving those emails, or heard about it from friends, this forum, but didn't get the email, or want to switch your email address, that's really wonderful, fine. Send an email to answers@nbn.org.il. Say, can you please switch my email address to this one? Or I'm not seeing the emails. Can you check it out? You should enter our email address into your phone book, and that way, if you have a spam folder, filter, lots of times, if you put the address into your address book or your phone book or your email address book, then it won't go into the spam filter. Okay, so that's a couple of things that I wanted to say. Going to also add another very important thing that I want to share with you, and then we'll go to the questions, is in addition to you reaching out to us when you have questions and us sending emails and us sending having open forums, we do have on staff what is called a regional coordinators, and you should be receiving a telephone call about once a month from a regional coordinator. That's somebody who works for Nefesh B'Nefesh in hand with us, who works, we have, for the Tel Aviv area, we have a few people calling Tel Aviv Olim. For the north, we have a person by the name of Danny. For Haifa area and the Zichron area. For the farther north, we have somebody called Leslie. We have somebody from Modi'in who calls. in short, we have a number of 10 plus regional coordinators. There are what we call our first responders, meaning they're not Aliyah professionals as the answers team is. They're more about regional area resources, and also to remind you who to turn to, where to look for help, and so on. They'll be, and it's in addition to, of course, just being a friendly voice on the other end of the phone, because your journey has really only just begun. Your pre-Aliyah journey, getting all the paperwork, all the documentation. For some, I'm sure it was very, very long and arduous, for most probably. And now that you're here, you have new challenges to face. We hope that our calls, monthly calls from the regional coordinator, will be a warm, friendly hello and outreach to you, and help you also along the post-Aliyah journey. Everybody will be experiencing that journey in a different way. For some, it'll be a year full of highs and very few lows. For others, it'll be a real roller coaster. Any way you react to the year is legitimate. We are still in a very difficult, different situation in Israel than if we had this a full year ago. Nobody would have dreamed that we'd be in the middle of a war still. Nobody would be dreamed of what's going on with our hostages who we just don't forget, and with all our wounded soldiers who we love and send our prayers for refuah shlema. And that affects each and every one of you too. It affects each and every Israeli, everyone living in Israel. It doesn't matter if you've been living here for 40 plus years, like me, or if you've been living here for 40 plus days, like some people on the screen. It's a situation that we're not used to. And we are also here. Reach out to us if you need assistance with the situation. We are not psychologists or social workers, but we do have resources that we can share with you if somebody needs help. Aviva, if you can put in the chat box the article to the link to our emergency resources page, and then I'm really going to answer questions, okay? We have a page with emergency resources, and what's most important is to know, if you haven't done it, is to download to your phone the Homefront the Homefront command app. Okay, there's also Red Alert, either one of those. They will notify you if there is, God forbid, an alarm in your area, and the Homefront command site will explain to you exactly where you need to go, what you need to go in each situation. If you're not familiar with that, you should take time to look at it. I hope it will be not necessary to use the information, but really important for you to have that information. On that same emergency resources page, there's a link to a webinar that somebody from the Homefront command gave us quite a number of months ago, but it's still quite relevant. How to choose a safe room if you're not sure, if you don't have in your home. I really hope that the excitement and the highs of your Aliyah will help you get through the difficult times that we sometimes all feel in general making Aliyah, and now during this time in Israel. Okay, I, for some reason, am not seeing any of the chats. Now I am. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I see that somebody already wrote a question. I want to start and we also received that question ahead of time. Somebody wanted information about acquiring a driver's license. So I'm just going to, we have, as you can imagine, we have an article about almost everything on our website. You might have used the website extensively prior to your Aliyah, but also post Aliyah. We have many, many articles that will help you step by step by step. If you run into something that's incorrect, that's changed, let us know, because there's a lot of content out there, but we try really to keep everything up to date. So converting your driver's license is what I like to call a tier 2 task, meaning it's not the first thing you need to do. You have a full 12 months from your date of entry to drive in Israel on your foreign license. Do not drive past 12 months from your date of entry. If you came to visit less than 3 months prior to your Aliyah, that previous visit would be your date of entry. After that, it is not legal to drive on your foreign license. You do have 5 years to transfer your foreign license, okay? So there's 2 dates there that you don't get them confused. As explained in our article, there's 3 steps. One is filling out an online form. The second step is they getting an okay and going to get your eyes checked at a participating optometrist who will also take your picture. And the third step is bringing your documentation to the licensing bureau, the Misrad Rishui. Can I just a show of hands? Anybody successfully yet or chime in, successfully yet finished completing their driver's license? I'm just curious.
We're up to bringing our documents to our appointment on Sunday morning.
Good luck. Okay. So you'll notice that you need to show 5 years of driving history. It could be your current driver's license was issued more than 5 years ago, but it could certainly be that it was not. If it was not issued 5 years ago, everything you read says you need to bring original documentation. You need to bring your original previous driver's license or a letter from the DMV or whatever it's called in Canada, showing that you've been driving for at least 5 years. The truth is that almost all of the offices will take, you need a current physical valid driver's license, but if it was issued 3 years ago and you have a picture of the driver's license before that, almost always they take that picture in lieu of having the expired driver's license. So that's a good thing to remember. One more tip I want to say, if you're going to be converting your driver's license, the first step is the online form, which includes a self-declaration health form. If you need to answer yes to any of the questions because you take medicines or you have a medical condition, you should, before you submit the form, get a letter from your doctor, Israeli doctor, on letterhead in Hebrew, stating that I, Dr. So-and-so, treat Sippy Oppenheimer for the following condition. She takes the following medicine. To the best of my knowledge, that does not affect her driving. If you attach a letter like that to the form for each time that you have to answer yes to something, it will be much quicker. Otherwise, the DMV and Israel Misfari Shui might decide that you need to go through their medical board, and that can take literally months, if not longer. I'm not exaggerating. Brian, did you want to, not Brian, you go by Brian or you go by another name? Sorry.
Both Chaim.
Okay,
Brian.
whatever. Okay, Brian, do you have a question about that?
I have my original driver's license
Mm-hmm.
from 1977. Will that work?
No, because that's amazing that you have it, but you need to show,
Well, I have my current driver's license.
you need to show 5 years of driving, consecutively prior to your Aliyah. So you could have theoretically had a license from 77 to 2010 and then only renewed your driver's license 3 years ago. So that's why that wouldn't work. I'm also going to welcome on the screen. I just see, hi, Yitz. Think that you're gonna hide from us, but you're not. Yitz is also part of our team and he's here helping. So Brian, that's why that wouldn't work. Okay. It's great that you have, but you need to show 5 consecutive years prior to your Aliyah.
Okay.
Lutwitz, did you have a question about this?
Yes, actually, I do. When we filled out the application and we listed our medications, we got an SMS that they need to review the medical review. And the next thing, we never heard anything on the medical review. We just got an SMS that it was time for us to go get our picture and vision test. So can we assume that they've cleared us of the medical?
Yeah, you can assume that. I hope that
Okay.
that's a good assumption, but when you go Sunday, if they say something to you, and this is good advice for anybody. If you're at a government office and you're expecting something A to happen, but B happens, okay? You're expecting to get everything processed. And they say to you, but no, you have to wait for the medical board. Be polite, be nice, be persistent, smile, step aside and give us a call. Star 3680. Maybe we can help you on the spot, or at least help you understand that maybe there's something else you can do, or maybe not. Okay, that would, if you received a notice to go get your eyes checked, that would seem to me that they approved your medical form. That being said, we'll see in the end. Okay, and please be in touch with us if not, and we'll see how we can help you. Okay,
Thank you. Mhm.
okay. Any more questions about driver's license, or we'll move on? Okay. So somebody mentioned in the right here in the chat, Philip mentioned something about biometric Taudat Zehut, and also somebody wrote in about that. So before I go to the first part of your question, I'm just curious, people here who has succeeded in applying for the biometric Taudat Zehut? Oh, okay. So there's some people either who are off screen and not showing, and others who haven't yet been able to make an appointment. So there is a good piece of news that we found out maybe about 10 days ago. And I believe we updated already on our website, Aviva, but there is no longer a need to activate your, well, there's no longer a need for you to activate your biometric Teudat Zehut. It is being activated automatically, I'm not sure how, but by the Misrad HaPnim. So we used to tell people you need to wait for an SMS and you need to press 1 and that will activate it. And if you missed it, you need to do this, that, and the other. You don't need to do that anymore. It's done automatically for you by the Misrad HaPnim. Unsure how. So that's good news for everybody. Yeah, Philip, did you want to add something? Because
So,
you did
yeah.
write that you took care of
So
that.
I walked in, the first appointment, I think I mentioned this the last, chat we had. It was gonna be August 21st, I guess that's tomorrow. I would have had to go to spot, but didn't have to happen. I walked in, I waited a while, but it was done in 5 minutes. Then they gave me a piece of paper and said, expect it in 2 to 3 weeks. Well, this morning I looked on the sort of website and it says it's being processed, but then today I got an SMS and I don't really know how to read it 100%, but I think there's an RR number. I think they sent me tracking information. So my question is really, how do I receive this pack? Do I need to be there? Will they send a courier? Do I need to sign for it? It's like upfront question.
Okay, that's a great question. So once you get a long number that begins with RR and ends with X, that's your tracking number. And we have a little known secret on our website. We have an article that is a cheat sheet for your first steps after Aliyah, which includes a link to tracking your registered email, which maybe Aviva can also put in, do it in Hebrew or English, by the way. And so then you could track it, okay? If you put a tracking number in before they actually send it on its way, it's going to show as not in the system, so don't freak out. But
Yep.
if you got it, that means you can track it. So once in a while, they actually ring your doorbell. But usually they put, as of late, they put a little postcard in your mailbox saying, please go to the post office. If you track it and it says, go to the post office and you didn't get that card, then go to the post office, okay? Some cities I've heard of issues and other cities, but we won't go there and just hope everybody has.
But do they require a signature? Is the first
They
thing.
require, it
If they
needs, you need to
deliver it,
bring,
like to your
you need-
mailbox.
you need, oh yes, they will definitely.
If they come to ring your door, I don't even have a doorbell. It's like a broken thing downstairs, like 30. They probably won't leave it in a.
So they'll probably leave you a postcard, but you will need in
Uh-huh.
any case, whether it's at the post office or at your door, you'll need to show them who you are by showing them your temporary Teudat Zehut, okay?
All right, so number one,
and you should have a code. You should also,
I lost that.
okay, you should have also had a code. Then hopefully they will give it to you using your American passport. You will need to have some type of picture ID.
Okay.
Or Canadian.
And how do I find where my local post office is? I mean,
no,
just
you won't. You don't need to guess which post office it is. It will show on the tracking site. Okay. Sometimes, in some cities,
It was the
I have,
9 days from
to
hell.
my astonishment, I have heard that some cities they actually left in Netanya. I heard of 3 different people that they actually left the Teudat Zehut in the mailbox, which really should not happen because it's a government document. I hope that doesn't happen in other cities.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I need to know right up front. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Tiffy,
Yeah.
Yaakov mentioned that they came to his door and they called like 5 minutes before they can, which was my
Amazing.
experience once too. They'll call, okay, we're outside your door, and then you have to run and get dressed because it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yaakov, what city do you live in? Can you say?
Right now I'm in Beit Shemesh.
That's where they came. And they came to your house in Beit Shemesh?
Yeah.
See, so normally the official line is there's a courier, somebody, the postman comes to your door. But the overwhelming majority of people tell me that nobody has ever knocked at their door or rang the bell or called. So I almost don't say that anymore. The Latwiks are shaking their head no. What happened with you?
What
It was
happened with
also-
us is that if they knocked on my door, I was probably asleep and Seema was probably in shul. We got an SMS saying, we tried to deliver, you aren't home, wait for a notification from the post office. And then we went to the post office, they gave us the address, you make an appointment in Yerushalayim to pick up your Teudat Zehut, and we got them with no problem. I
Okay.
do want to say for Alan, I think it was, who said he couldn't get an appointment. Number one, they post new appointments daily as they open up. Number two, our experience was I got an appointment for September 2nd in Yerushalayim. And then when I went back on to book for my husband, they had opened something up in Ma'ale Adumim. 2 hours later, we took it, and b'simcha gedola, they processed me also, even though they say you each need your own appointment. So
Okay.
don't believe everything you read. It worked out absolutely smoothly, but you need to go on every day and look for openings.
So thank you. We're gonna hire you, Razy.
Anytime.
So we do urge people to look certainly in the morning hours. Between 8 and 9 in the morning is when usually appointments open up, same day, next day, same week, next week. That's what I like to say. Once in a while you see appointment here, appointment there, because people cancel, but I'm talking about they open up blocks of appointment in certain offices. It's certain branches are harder than others to find. The second week in August, a lot of government offices work on skeletal staffs schedules, so you might find less appointments available or not at all. You do not have to go to the Misada Pnim in your city. Don't go so far that if you need to go back, it'll be a hardship. Malay Adumim is a great branch. They're really nice. Mifaseret Zion as well. You do need to each have an appointment. That being said, if you had an appointment for a different date in a different branch, if they're nice, and it's not a question of nice. It has, I'm sorry, I want to take that back because it has to do with how busy they are, quite honestly, okay? If they are understaffed and overwhelmed, they will say, we're very sorry, we just can't fit you in. Certainly some places are more amenable to trying to fit in than others, but that's, so you shouldn't, I sometimes when somebody says, I got an appointment for myself in 3 days' time, but for my spouse, I could only get for 4 weeks. Take that appointment in 4 weeks' time, both go together and tell the guard or the clerk, look, we really need an appointment together. We couldn't find 2. So the next one's in 4 weeks. Can you help us both? And they often will. This is Israel, number 1, but number 2, you're Americans. So be persistent like Israelis, but be polite, nice, smiling, and in good humor like we know how to be as well. There's a lot of hand raised, and I don't know if it's because you have things to say or because you didn't lower them.
No, so I had a
yeah.
question about the.
Wait, I just want Yitz to add something that, Yitz from my team.
Yeah, thank you, Tippy. I just wanted to add for the gentleman who said that he couldn't find the piece of paper. Often in the SMS that you get from them with that tracking information or some information, at the bottom, very close to the bottom of the SMS, the password, the code often exists. So just check that out. It may be there.
Thanks, Yitz. Yaakov, did you want to say something about this?
No, I had a separate question.
Okay, so I think we are going to move on then to another topic. And if you have more questions, that's the code page. Thank you, Mr. Blanco. He was just showing. You want to just hold it up again 1 second?
Yeah, what is this and what do I do with this? All right.
Okay, and then we'll move on to the next topic. That is a code page you received when you applied. There should be a code in the
Yeah,
who
4
knows
digits.
Yitz or Viva. Right, that's what you need. Keep that, take that with you to the post office or show it to the postman, because that theoretically is what they need in addition to ID to get
In
you the
addition.
that Zoot. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. You know, I can't believe I spent hours trying to
Okay.
find it.
Okay.
My
Okay.
temporary,
Well, what
but-
you have is good. Thank you.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Okay, Yaakov, what did you want to ask now?
If I'm moving to a different city, what's the most important things to change? Do I have to? Should I be changing the address of my 2 Zahut or the Sefach immediately?
Yeah, you
Bank
know-
account, all those things. What matters? What doesn't?
Thank you, Yaakov. That's a great question. Aviva, we need to write an article about that. We get that question often. We should have it written down. Aviva's kind of adds our content, some of it. You need to change your address in the Misrad Pnim. Okay, if you look online, you'll see one can change address using an online form once a year. However, as Olim, you will not be able to do that change online until a year has passed. My theory is they see your Aliyah as an address change. I don't know, but it just doesn't work for Olim in their first year. So you will need to go to the Misrad Pnim. Remind me, Yitz or Aviva, you make an appointment for that? There is a way to make it. It's always better to make an appointment because then it's always better. You won't have to wait in line so much. I don't think there is a choice to say change address. But you could go in and speak to the clerk and explain why you're there to change your address and that you can't do it online. Usually, sometimes they ask for proof. If you have a rental contract, you should bring that with you. If you don't have one, hopefully they won't ask for it. If you are moving to a yishuv, moshav, or kibbutz, you most definitely need a letter from that place, from the yishuv, moshav, kibbutz secretariat, saying that you're moving to that community. That's just what they do for small communities. That's one place to change your address. The other place you should change your address is via the gov.il account. There's a few personal accounts that you can should open up online. One is a gov.il account, and one is a Bituach Leumi account, and you should change your address in both those places. And then change your address like you need to at a bank, Kupat Cholim, it depends. If you're in the same city and you want to stay in the same clinic, you should still update them about your address, but you don't have to change clinics. If you're switching cities, then you'll go to a new clinic, register there with your new address. If you switch cities, you need to switch also Misara Klita, although usually a person doesn't need to go in person so much to the Misara Klita after you've registered for your Saklita. Now they try to do a lot of it online. You can also do things online with Misara Klita. You open up a GovIL account using that same identifying information. You log into a Misara Klita personal login account. A plug for our website, we have step-by-step guides. So they're in Hebrew. Misara Klita, by the way, is in English. The account is in English, okay? Everything there you could do in different languages, including English. But other accounts, it's only in Hebrew. So we have step-by-step guides with screenshots, how to open up those accounts.
And should all of those things be done Dafka before, Dafka after you move? Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm trying to think how to answer that. I mean, if you're sure
Obviously,
you're
it could be different for each.
I mean,
but-
I think it depends on your personality. Somebody might say, "Well, I'm not going to do it before." That's like a jinx. You don't need to do it before. You could do it, the day, the week after, or a month after. There's implication, if you don't change your address, then any official email. There's a lot of things that can happen. Official mail will go to the other address, which could include for young people like Tzav Gius, your army. We've had stories like that. They don't see that they were drafted to the army. It's a real problem. But I would probably say doing it afterwards. I wanted to say one more thing, address change when, Arnona. And so let's just give a plug about the Arnona minute and it ties in. As Olim, you receive an Arnona discount. I don't know, has anybody been able to yet take care of that? Show of hands, like yes, no, maybe so. Okay.
I was told it was only for rentals, not if you own.
That is not true. You are as Olim entitled to in most places, it's a 90% discount on the first 100 square meters of rental or what you own, okay? If your place is larger than 100 square meters, you will pay, Aviva, am I wrong? Now I'm getting nervous.
I
think
just
it was
wanted
the
to say,
the immigration and population who told me that.
Not
it might
correct.
be a confusion between the rental assistance, because
Okay.
rental assistance is only for people who are renting, not if you own.
Okay.
The municipal taxes in Israel, as opposed to in America, are paid by the person who's living in the property, not the owner, like at least in the States.
Okay, it's good. So I was correct. So the Arnona, which is the property tax, you're eligible. Some places have a 70% discount or an 80%. Almost all places have 90%. It's a 12-month discount. You can take advantage of it anytime in the first 24 months. So you haven't lost out on anything, okay? When you apply for it, you apply for it at the local municipality. When you apply, check to see if your city needs you to renew that discount on January 1st, or if the discount is good for 12 months. Some places need you to renew it. So it's better for you to know. You need to bring your Tudat Zhut, your Tudat Ole, which is your Olim's rights booklet. If you have an old Arnona or a recent Arnona bill, that's very helpful for them to find it. Method of payment, because they will take your bank information or bank card information, as well as like a rental contract or ownership. That's what you need to get the discount. Sometimes you can do it online. I'm just gonna say, wherever you live, just as an FYI, the Jerusalem municipality is a really good explanation about the various Arnona discounts in English. So you obviously, if you don't live in Jerusalem, you can't use their website in the end, but you can read about it that way. And I'm going to remind you another resource.
Are you
that
only eligible after 8 months though of
No,
living?
no. That's two different benefits. I'll talk. Right now, the Arnona benefit, you can access it from your second day of Aliyah, theoretically, okay? and it's good for 12 months. If you're renting something right now very small and you know you're going to be upgrading in 3 months time, then wait and take out the benefit, take out the discount on the larger place. Yaakov, the reason I thought about it is because if you have not yet taken advantage of the Arnona discount and you're moving from one city to the other, they will ask you, the Arnona office in the new city, for a letter from the old city that you never took advantage of a discount. So that you would want to do ahead of time. Say you're living in Jerusalem and moving to Tel Aviv, go to the Jerusalem Arnona office, or maybe you can order it online to get a letter saying they never used that Olim discount, okay? Another resource in your toolbox is the municipality coordinator. Has anybody been in touch with your local municipality coordinator? Or even know what I'm talking about? Okay. So most cities have a municipality klita coordinator. In some of the cities, they actually speak English. Jerusalem, Tel Aviv for sure. Haifa has an amazing municipality coordinator. Her name is Smadar. Brian, if you haven't been in touch with her, send me an email. I'll give you her information. Other cities too. I just, those are, throwing those off the top of my head there. Beit Shemesh has a lovely municipality coordinator who speaks English. They work for the city as well as for Misad. They're in hand with Misad Klita and so on. So they can help you with various things, including if you have trouble accessing your Arnona discount, because it's collegial. That's the department in the municipality where they're working. We have a list of municipality coordinators on our website. You might never need to contact them, or you might need to contact them and they'll help you. Sometimes when people reach out to us with questions, we'll say, hey, your municipality coordinator can help you with that, okay? So no, that's another resource in your toolbox. You can reach out directly about local information and about things in the local municipality. Did anybody have more questions about the Arnona discount before I explain what the rental assistance is? Avivale, are you ready to explain about the rental assistance so I can rest my throat a little bit?
Of course, Tippy. So the rental assistance, there's just been a change. So Tippy, just remind me from what month the Olim are with us today are?
They are all, everybody here is in the new
After
rental
March?
assistance program, all of them,
Okay.
yes.
All right, that simplifies things. Okay, so Olim as of March 1st have a new rental assistance plan. It begins from the 7th month, right after you finish your Sal Klita payments, and it lasts. I apologize if I don't remember it exactly by heart in the numbers. While I'm talking, I will open it up, and basically it's for. Sorry, 1 second. It's for anyone who is not a homeowner, not living in any kind of government housing, and you don't have to prove that you're renting. You could be living by your cousin or whatever, and you're still eligible. And I'm just opening it up so I can see the exact numbers. So it goes on from month 7 through. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the right thing so I don't give you the wrong information. I apologize for the. Okay, so it starts from your 7th month, and it's the same amount every month for between the 7th month and the 30th month from your date of Aliyah. So it's about 4 years, and you'll get the same amount each month. It's separate if you're single, if you're a family or a single parent family. And there's a little bit extra for people living in national priority areas, which are basically the South, right now, the South and the very North. This should start automatically. You shouldn't have to do anything to get it started, but if you notice by, let's say month 8 or so that it hasn't come into your account, it'll be coming from the housing authority, called Shikun in Hebrew, then you should let us know and we'll help you make sure it gets activated. If you have been a homeowner within the last 10 years, you also won't be eligible. So if you've recently sold a home here, sorry, you are not eligible. And you should let us know as soon as you notice you're not getting it, because they'll only back pay retroactively for about 2 months. So we shouldn't let it go too long. Any questions about the rental assistance? Okay, Tsippy?
Yeah, thanks so much, Aviva. I should have prepared you ahead of time that I was gonna ask you that. Just, and if you said this, I apologize, I didn't hear you say it. If you travel out of the country for 2 months or more, there will be a pause on the rental assistance. You will need to let the Misad Shikun, which is the Ministry of Housing, know that you are back, or your rental company. We can guide you how to do that, either help you do it or do it. So if you're away for more than 2 months, and not now, once you begin receiving the rental assistance, you should let them know when you're back. Which just reminds me that if you travel out of the country now while you're still receiving the Sal Klita, and you're out for 2 weeks or more, there will be a pause also on the Sal Klita. It's automatic. You don't have to do anything to pause it. It will start up again after you've been back for 2 weeks. Again, for this, you don't need to do anything. Sometimes you won't see the payment for much longer because they don't pay on a round robin basis. The Misad Klita pays its Sal Klita once a month on one date, usually in the first 10 days, but only one date during the month. So if you're 2 weeks, you're back the day after they just paid, you won't lose the money. You'll just get it the next month. Your Sal Klita, you receive it for 7 months and it times out after 12 months. So that's the only thing to know. If you're traveling for a few months and it's put on pause, they'll reinstate it. But if you are out of the country for too long, you won't get the full amount. Is everybody here already getting their Sal Klita? Anybody having any issues with Sal Klita? Terrific.
Yes, we have our meeting on Thursday, so I wanted to ask, what do we need to prepare for that meeting?
At the Misad Klita, it's your first meeting with them?
Yeah,
You need to bring with you your bank account information. That's really important.
that
Did
I
you-
have.
Perfect. You should bring with you all the paperwork that you brought. Lots of times it's a little overkill what we tell you to bring, but better to bring too much, for the 1 in 100 people that they'll ask for it, than not to bring enough. So bring also if you received at the airport, the 2.OLE, the Olim rights booklet. It looks like a passport. Bring your
Yeah, I got that.
okay, your temporary 2.Zehut.
Wait, I think they took that when I went to
To get
Misrad Tanim, those papers.
okay, whatever they took, but you should still have your temporary 2.Zehut. It's a little plasticized card.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
a
I got
folded-
that.
Okay, and that's what you need to bring with you, basically, okay? If you have an Israeli passport because you have Israeli citizenship prior to your Aliyah, you should bring the Israeli passport as well.
Okay, that we don't have yet.
Okay, so that's all you need to bring.
So
And
just
bring
really
a
the main thing is the bank letter and the ID card.
ID card and the Olim rights booklet, the 2.OLE.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, those
Good.
two, yeah.
I don't
Okay?
need to bring all of the apostille stuff anymore?
No, you do not.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And I'm just gonna remind you that Olim rights booklet is sometimes it's translated, the 2.OLE is a official government piece of document you should keep in safekeeping along where you keep your passports and so on. You might think you don't need it anymore, but actually sometimes up till 15 years from Aliyah, you still have certain benefits, so you do want to keep that in a safe place.
Okay,
There is a question about, okay, Gavin, I saw it, tax questions. So the truth is we have basic information on our website written by professionals. You can Google tax, NBN or whatever, read those basic articles, but they're written by professionals. And that's the point here. We cannot offer, we don't and can't offer financial advice, tax advice, and so on. Again, if it's a simple question that you have, we can try and answer, but in the end, you should turn to either a tax specialist or an accountant who specializes both in Israeli taxes and US or Canadian, whichever you are, taxes, okay? And that is what Aviva answered. Okay,
No, wait a minute. What about the purchase tax change?
that's something else, okay? So I didn't see who asked that, but I actually pulled up on my screen ahead of time because it's new and I don't want to give wrong information. There is the government the tax authorities passed a change as of August 15th, which was 5 days ago, with reduced purchase tax for Olim. That is purchase tax just for purchasing property. It's not for something else, okay? And it's a great change for Olim. Anything that you purchase after the date of August 15th, 2024, up through 1,978,745 shekel, which is just a little under 2 billion shekel, you have 0% purchase tax on that. Above that, for purchases, units that cost between 2 million and 6 million, you pay 0.5%. And anything that exceeds that, you pay the normal purchase tax rate. That is a big savings for Olim. You can use that anytime. It will help Olim anytime between 5 years after their Aliyah, if you purchase within 5 years of your Aliyah, as well as there's sometimes Olim will purchase up to 1 year before their Aliyah. They then can apply for this refund after their Aliyah, okay? But it's not relevant for you, that part of it. It began August 15th. So if you are planning to purchase a property, please keep that in mind.
But what if you already purchased a property, like a few days before?
Unfortunately, everything that we have asked about and looked into that, we were told that the cutoff date is August 15th.
Well, that's not right. That screws the people who made the Aliyah during the war.
Well, it certainly affects anybody who bought something before August 15th. All I can say is two things. One is there's always got to be a cutoff point, and that's their answer, and that's the cutoff point. The other thing is, even though that is the absolute official answer we received from the Israeli tax authorities, I would certainly suggest anybody who's in that situation to speak with their real estate lawyer and see if they have any way to appeal that or any way to get any type of change made.
Where's the law? I can't find it online.
The law, I'm happy to send it to you. Who's this asking me? What's your last name? Alan?
Yeah.
What's your I need to know what your last name is just so I can send you an email. I'm happy to send it to you as an email. Can you give me your last name?
Zaymore.
Okay. So I will send you later on where I have about that law, about that purchase tax change.
Can
Okay?
you also send it to me? Chaim Alkabas?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Okay. Just mark it as end.
I just want anybody who's listening in the same position to try, if you could put my email up, people could contact me because we're trying to organize a protest about this law as it affects people who bought properties prior to the effective date, but after the war started. And
I would
there's a lot of
suggest,
people. That's
I-
a lot of people who are pretty upset about this.
I understand, sir. I would suggest putting that out on social media for new Olim groups. That's what I would suggest. Okay? Are there any other, Aviva, we are reaching 45 minutes. We have about another 5 or 10 minutes maximum. Are there any questions that were, or should I go back to the questions that were sent in ahead of time? Oh, and I know what I didn't say. Okay, I wanted to begin by just saying people sent in questions ahead of time. And the Ludwigs sent in the most lovely, when it says questions and comments, the most lovely comment. We want to learn from others' experience and share some of our own if applicable. And really, that's what I want to start with, that's what this evening is about. I'm glad people have shared from their own experiences. We have shared from our professional expertise. And it's really important. I just, sharing with each other about your experiences, not just practical tips, but also ups and downs and so on is very helpful. Just remember, Israel is very dynamic. Things change very often and very quickly. And if your best friend made Aliyah 3 years ago and insists that you can do ABC, well, I'm just, it's most likely changed by then. So if people who made Aliyah a while ago start telling you, ABC, you can ask us for sure, but don't, I'm sure everybody's is good intentions, but they might not realize that things change that often. I want to talk about travel document in a minute. Traveling out of the country through the end of December, you can travel using not just Olim. Any Israeli who has a valid foreign passport can travel in and out of the country using their valid foreign passport. Okay, currently, it says that that protocol is in place, or that bylaw, or whatever the legal definition is, through December 31st, 2024. From January 1st, you will need an official Israeli travel document. Will they change that date? They might postpone it again. I don't know, but right now that's what it is. So just keep in your minds, you need to apply for a travel document, excuse me, to be able to use it from January 1st and on. You cannot apply for that unless you have been here for at least 90 days. Don't even go on your 90th day. Go make an appointment in Misrad Apnim for 91 days or further from your Aliyah date. They cannot help you if you come on the 89th day or the 90th day. From experience of other Olim, I'm telling you that. You will apply and I call it a travel document and not a passport, because it is a Tudat Ma'avar. That is let's say passé. It is a travel documents for all intents and purposes. There are a few countries, I believe some Eastern European countries, I've been told some African countries, I'm not sure, that don't take that. But by and large, other countries take it. And it doesn't really matter to you as North Americans, because you have your other passport if you need, okay? You can apply for a passport only after having been here 1 year and living here at least 75% of the first year. The Tudat Ma'avar that you will receive is a 5-year document. It's good for 5 years. You do not need to switch it out after a year. Okay, in fact, my advice is don't switch it out. Why waste money? But that's obviously your own decision. There's questions specifically about that. Yes, Razi.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Actually, I'm looking at what Robert wrote. The person at Misrad Pnim kind of offered to apply for the Tudat Ma'avar for us right away. And then for some reason, she said, no, it's not a good idea. You should wait. We are not going to be we're going back to the States for the Chagim with our children and grandchildren. When we come back, number one, is the 90 days cumulative? Is it from the date of your Aliyah, or is it 90 days in the country?
No, it's not 90 days in the country. It's from the date of your Aliyah. She
Okay,
might have
that's
missed,
number one.
she might have offered you, then realized, oh, you haven't been here that long enough, so that might
No,
be why.
Robert said they processed him together with the Tudat Zehut. And
Yitz,
whatever.
have you ever heard of that?
But we don't know when they went for their two dots of hood though.
Is this somebody, you're not talking about yourself, you're talking about somebody else. So maybe they went for the Tudat Zut after the 90 days. Because everything to my understanding
No,
is
he came, we was on our flight, right, Robert? They let us order at the same time as we did our Tudat Zehut. We were only here a week. Correct. That's what I understand. She definitely offered, and then she said, but you're gonna end up paying. I don't know. There was some
Oh, I
reason.
see. That's what he wrote too. We got our travel document 3 weeks after we were
Now
only here
the
1 week.
other thing is,
Yitz, have you ever heard of that?
There are clerks and branches that are, I'm not sure what the right word is, overzealous, let's call it, that they offer those things right away. Because, especially to Olim, they say, you know, what's the chance of the likelihood of you rescinding your Aliyah? It's the whole 90 days thing of giving you the option to say, you know what, I can't do this for tax purposes, for this purpose, for that purpose. I just want to go back, whatever it is. So they give you 90 days. But there are times where some people say, what is the likelihood of this? They just came there, Aliyah. Maybe they say that, look at the person's age. It doesn't matter what it is. And they say, and then really they could renege on that. You know what I mean? Because it's not, and there are branch managers who don't like when their branch clerks do that. So it could be that kind of a situation where they wanted to do a nice thing. They wanted to offer you something. And then they said, oh no, I'm going to have to get that approved by so-and-so. And so forget about it. Just wait, guys. Just wait. That's
So
all I
what
can think.
happens if we leave and we're not 100% sure that we'll be back before December 31st? And we can't travel on our US passports anymore.
They'll let
and we
you
won't
back
have-
in. They'll
I'm
let you
sorry?
back in. They'll let you back in. If you left the country and you come back, they'll let you back in. Show them your Tudat, show them your Tudat Zehut. They will tell you, go get your passport, your travel document. But they will let you back in. They won't let you back
and
out
then-
the next time, but yeah.
Well, again, that is an area which is probably the only I don't want to, is there any other questions on the two.mov?
No, what I want to
I'll
say
pass
is,
it
you know, what
this-
I'm going to suggest is, why don't you don't call us tomorrow. Nobody's in the office tomorrow. We're all at the airport. Call
I
us
know.
Thursday or call us Sunday, and we can talk specifically about it.
Yeah, it's about health insurance. And
Okay.
unfortunately, even from Nefesh B'Nefesh, this is the one area where we're running into a stumbling block and have gotten conflicting information from different Nefesh
Okay,
B'Nefesh
so
personnel.
okay, so why don't we, again, let me look
Offline, talk offline?
Yeah. Again, it's not gonna be tomorrow. I'm being very honest with you.
That's
Okay,
fine. We've been
but
struggling
let's-
with
yes.
this since before we
Okay.
came, so.
Okay, so we'll
yeah.
be in touch, okay?
Okay,
And
thank
we are
you.
reaching the end, and there's two things I needed to say still, unless Aviva and Yitz have more to add, but two things that I wanted to mention. One is Bituach Leumi. We didn't mention it at all. That's great. Bituach Leumi is our Israel National Social Security, and they also are the ones who facilitate the healthcare tax. You will need to be paying that from the 6th month on. If you're past retirement age, you just pay the healthcare part. If you're before retirement age, you pay healthcare part and social security part. Unless if you're working, it's taken directly out of your salary. You will receive monthly emails that will remind you about this. Don't worry about it yet, okay? Don't think about it. You don't need to know it yet. But you do need to know that what's really important to know for those of you who are traveling a lot is the implications. Traveling a lot means that Israel is no longer the center of your life. The implications of that are the revoking of your residency status, which means no health care. Nobody says you can't travel. You certainly can travel overseas, see your family, visit, whatever, have fun, travel to Europe. I don't care. But if you're out of the country for too long, then the Bituach Leumi will call into question whether Israel is indeed the center of your life. And that's their definition of residency of Toshavut. If this is something that strikes a chord with somebody here because they're going to be away a lot, traveling for work or for family, a lot, and you're not sure what a lot means, give us a call next week, okay? And we'll talk about it, or send us an email. If you're traveling just for a visit and you're going to be away for more than a month, we do suggest letting Bituach Leumi know, preempting it, so that if for some reason they do decide to revoke the residency, when you come back, it'll be that much easier to put it back in place. You will be able to put it back in place. You went away for 5 weeks, you come back, they took away my residency. It will be able to help you put it back in place. You go away for 5 months, that's a bigger question, because then it really does call into question where the center of your life is. That's one thing. The other thing is,
Nobody else cares where I live. What is this? I'm a prisoner of Israel? I
no,
can't
it has
leave?
to it's exactly not what I said. I exactly
No, it
said,
sounds like it. If you leave, you
well,
lose your
then I've got,
residency.
then I will repeat myself. Residency, every country that I know of certainly has residency for taxes, whatever. Israel, the what we call the our free healthcare, which is not really free because you pay a healthcare tax. The minimum is 116 shekel a month. I don't know how much that is in dollars. That healthcare, that free healthcare is only for those who are residents of Israel. There are residents of Israel who are not citizens who can take advantage of that. And there are citizens of Israel, not residents, all the people in LA or wherever. I just use this as an example. They're not eligible for healthcare. It's not, they know it has nothing to do with your citizenship. Your citizenship is fine and in place. It has to do with your residency, which then affects your healthcare. Nobody's saying you can't travel. I said the exact opposite. You are certainly allowed to travel. You might need to let them to explain why you're traveling back and forth for healthcare purposes. If you don't want to deal with that, if you don't want to give a reckoning to the Bituach Leumi, that just means you should arrange for yourself private healthcare, because you won't be able to be covered by the Bituach Leumi free healthcare tax, free healthcare benefit that all Israelis have. Last thing, and
that
then
benefit is valid outside of Israel. They will
no. Healthcare in Israel is never covers you outside. You always need to take travel insurance, or you already have healthcare insurance from whatever overseas. No, it does not cover you.
Okay, Tippy, do you want to just mention the emergency room and ambulance situation so that people don't fall into the
Please do.
situation? Oh, I should? Okay.
Yeah.
So with Kupat Cholim, you can't just call an ambulance or go to the emergency room unless it's really a life or death situation. If it's something that can wait for a few minutes, you can call the emergency number. For each kupa has their own emergency number, and speak to a nurse and find out if the situation warrants an ambulance, in which case, if they tell you it will, they will cover it. If you just take an ambulance on your own volition, unless, I'll get to the unless in a couple of seconds, it won't be covered, and you'll have to pay at least a chunk of it. Now, if somebody is admitted, if it's a broken bone or stitches, then emergency room will be covered. And the ambulance, it depends if it's somebody is admitted, they will be covered, but not always if it's a broken bone or stitches, depending, I think, on the hours of the day. So there is a system called an urgent care system called Terem. Most Kupat Holims you can go to it. There is a copay ranging between like 80 or 150. I don't know exactly for each healthcare fund, but that's great for in the middle of the night or on a Shabbat when you can't just go to a doctor. And if they feel the need for you to be in a hospital, they'll give you a referral to the hospital and it'll be covered. You could also get a referral to Terem from your primary care doctor, and then that would be no fee as well.
Okay, thank you very, very much.
Guys, if you call the emergency number for your Kupat Cholim and they agree to cover it, will they call the ambulance or do you need to yourself?
No, you need to do that yourself, which is a good point in that if you dial 911, somebody sent that question in and I Googled it. And there's a rumor that if you call 911 from Israel, it will go to the 101, which is the Magen David Adom, but I don't know if that's true. Keep in a handy place until it's in your brain. 100 is police, 101 is ambulance, 102 is fire. We have that in your post Aliyah guide, a little thing to cut out. Those are important phone numbers. One last thing that I want to bring up, and then we're going to say goodnight. We have, for those of you who are in traveling distance from Jerusalem, we have on Tuesdays what we call Translation Tuesday. You need to register ahead of time, but we have our team members and volunteers will meet with you to help you understand things that you don't understand. If that's setting up an online account for something because it's in Hebrew, or if it's letters that you received from a government office that you're not understanding, or if it's applying for a senior citizens card, if you can't do it yourself, et cetera, et cetera. We also have other volunteers throughout the country who can help if and as needed. So you shouldn't be ashamed, or you shouldn't be shy. Be in touch with us. And if you can come on Tuesday, I don't know how quickly you can find that link, Aviva, but join us on for Translation Tuesday if you're too far away, or if it's difficult for you to come in. Be in touch with us and we might be able to pair you up with a volunteer. That might take a little bit of time to find the right volunteer, but somebody can help you on the phone or sharing your computer screen or whatever, and we can do that as well. I thank you very, very much. It is already an hour into it, and I think that we're gonna, unless somebody has a very we're gonna end this for tonight. And we're always here. You know how to reach us, star 3680. I see that Mr. Shirtliff has raising his hand. So why don't we say goodbye and let people log off, and then or maybe that was a goodbye hand actually. If somebody has a pressing question they want to continue right now, I can give another 5 or 10 minutes, but we can let everybody else log off. Otherwise, please try and reach us from Thursday. Thank you very, very much to Yitz, and thank you very, very much to Aviva, my two colleagues who helped us. That was a clapping. Thank you, Robert. My two colleagues who helped give this forum, and most important, Mazal Tov on your Aliyah. May it be very good, full of good things. And we really, bravo to you all for coming now. It really is, everyone in Israel appreciates and really, 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 really. And stay healthy and stay happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Tippy.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.